Hello again, English lovers and learners, and welcome to another fantastic Next Level English video. My name is Julian, and if you like free English lessons, then all you need to do is press subscribe to see lots more. Don't forget to like the video, also if you like the video. Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to be looking at 10 commonly mispronounced words. So, as you may know, English is not a phonetic language, so we don't know how to pronounce a word simply by looking at the spelling. So I've tried to use all my experience of teaching English for many years to compile the ultimate list of words that students often mispronounce. So by the end of this video, you will be able to pronounce all these words correctly, maybe with a bit of practice. So the first word we're going to look at is clothes. Clothes. And this is really difficult for students to say, and I completely understand why. Because there's a lot going on. It's basically got what we call a consonant cluster. It's got lots of consonants together, and that can be really tricky and confusing for people, I know. So let's break down the word. So the last sound is a z sound, like zoo, even though it's written with an S. And just before the z sound is the tricky one, it's the v sound. Okay, so your tongue needs to be between your teeth and you should feel a vibration here. So it's v and then z at the end. And then before that, we've got the O sound, which is a diphthong, O. And before that, we've got two more consonants together. We've got a k and a l. So put that together, it's clo, and then clothe, and then clothes. So when we say clothes, naturally, as you can hear, we don't say like that. It's very light, clothes. But if you really find that too difficult, you can do what lots of British people do, and that's just pronounce it with a z. So forget the z completely and just say clothes, and say it really quickly so no one notices. Our second word is mother. Mother. You say it. Now, the reason this is confusing, and the reason why many of the words in English are confusing, is all because of the spelling. So, although it's spelt with an O, it's not an O sound like on, it's an sound like You say it. So it's mother, mother. So mother contains the v sound, that voiced sound, that vibrating sound that I talked about. And at the end of the word we have a schwa, a simple which is the most common sound in English. So if we put that all together, we have mother, mother. Our next word is after. After. You say it. So this word causes confusion for a few reasons. Firstly, because the A is pronounced, or the way I pronounce it, because I'm from southern England, is R, so it's a long R sound. Now, people generally from the north of England would pronounce it after. Either way is fine, but I say R, after. The other thing with this word is that at the end of the word we have an R. Now, as you may know in English, when we have an R at the end of a word, we usually don't pronounce it as a R sound. It's usually just a schwa sound. So we don't say after, or Americans might say after, but in the standard British English accent, the one that I speak with, we would just pronounce it as a t. So put that all together, it's after. After. Try again.
Would you like a fantastic foundation in pronunciation, including weekly feedback from me? Go to masterpronunciation.com and register for my new course. It's starting soon.
So our next word is said. Said. You'll go. So the reason this is often mispronounced is, again, because of the spelling. Some people think it's said, but it's not said, the AI here simply represents the E sound, like in egg or bed. So we just say said. Try again. So our fifth word is arguably the most difficult for students of English to pronounce correctly. And that word is comfortable. Comfortable. You have a go. Okay, so again, the spelling is misleading. We don't say comfortable. We simply say comfortable. So lots of words in English end with a bull. So let's start backwards. So let's start with a bull and then to bull. And then you need to put a f before the t. So it's ftable, ftable. And then you just need to add a come. So it's comfortable, comfortable. Again, it is tricky because we have the consonants f and t together, which might be very difficult for you. Or you can try it another way with table, table, and then practice comf, comf. Add them together and you've got comfortable, comfortable, comfortable. So actually it's only 3 syllables. Comfortable, comfortable. We don't say comfortable or anything like that. And don't forget the stress is on the first vowel sound. So it's on the comfortable, comfortable. Have another go. Our next word is a really good one and it's love, love. You try. And because it's spelt with an O, lots of people say love or something similar to that. But it's simply the sound, like up. So love, love. Try one more time. Our next word is a really common word that we cannot avoid, but often it's mispronounced. And that word is work, work. So there's 2 things here that people find tricky. One is the R. So as you may know, in British English, we don't usually pronounce the R when it's in the middle of a word. So we don't say work. So in American English, they might pronounce the R. So as you may know, in British English, we usually don't pronounce the R as a R when it falls in the middle or at the end of a word, as we said before. So this word simply has the sound in the middle of it. Can you say So it's a long sound, but we don't pronounce the So it ends with a k and it starts with a w, so we just say work, work. Have another go. Our next word is particularly, particularly. You try. So this word causes problems because it's got lots of letters that we don't need to say. There are actually 2 ways to say this word. You can say particularly, particularly, but why bother? We can just reduce the amount of syllables and just say particularly. So let's break the word down. So let's start with the last 2 syllables, yili, yili, and then we have tick, so it's tickily, tickily, and then it's just p with a schwa, so it's particularly. It's not particularly cold today, is it? As I said before, you can say particularly, particularly, if you really want to show off, but you don't need to. You can simply say particularly, particularly. Have another go. Okay, so our penultimate word here is one that our North American cousins get wrong all the time, especially when they visit London. So we have a joke, in London particularly, that American tourists are often looking for Leicester Square, but we simply pronounce it Leicester, Leicester. So it's actually quite easy, but again, the spelling of the E-I-C-E-S is really confusing people. So you've probably heard of Leicester Square, But in England, there's also a city called Leicester, and there are several other place names that follow that same pattern, like Worcester or Bicester. So to say this word, it's simply L-E-S-T and A. Leicester. Leicester. You'll go. Okay, our 10th and final word, drum roll, is pronunciation. And this is very commonly mispronounced. So pronunciation. So it's 5 syllables. That causes problems, and we need to make sure we put the stress in the right place. And where's the stress? It's on the ation. So often words with ation in them have the stress on the A. Pronunciation. Your go. So what people say sometimes is pronunciation or something similar, but it's an sound again. So it's pronunciation. Pronunciation. See if you can say it, putting the stress on the ation. Have a go. So if you like this video, please make sure you subscribe. Also like the video, and do let me know in the comments which words you find difficult to pronounce, because I will definitely do another video on commonly mispronounced words. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.